This presentation slide maps out the historical spread of dengue fever in the Philippines, showing a continuous upward trajectory of outbreaks. It is hard data backing up a reality. Mosquitoes are responsible for millions of human deaths worldwide via diseases like dengue and malaria, making them history's most lethal biological enemy. Because of that threat, humanity has spent decades trying to suppress their numbers, even spraying potent chemicals like DDT directly onto populated public beaches. The ultimate fantasy is obvious: use modern science to engineer a coordinated global eradication of every single mosquito on Earth. But there is a biological paradox standing in the way of that plan. Mosquitoes are an ancient technology. They have been thriving on this planet for over 100 million years, outliving the dinosaurs and surviving the deep freeze of the Ice Age. Nature rarely maintains a species for 100 million years without integrating it into the environment. Eradicating every mosquito would leave a void in the global ecosystem that science is only beginning to map. To understand the consequences of that void, we have to look away from the sky and down into local freshwater ponds and lakes. Long before a mosquito ever takes flight, its primary contribution begins underwater during its larval stage. These translucent larvae operate as aquatic sanitation workers. They spend days wriggling through murky water, consuming waste and keeping algae strictly under control. If we removed these larvae from the equation, that natural filtration system stops. Without their primary consumer, the algae left behind begins an unchecked exponential bloom, spreading rapidly across the water's surface. This diagram shows how surface algae forms a thick barrier blocking sunlight. Decaying organic matter strips oxygen from the ecosystem, plunging it toward zero. In this completely anoxic environment, meaning devoid of oxygen, fish and frogs suffocate, causing a mass die-off globally. Removing this larval population disrupts the chemical balance of ponds and lakes, effectively poisoning the foundational layer of freshwater ecosystems worldwide. That aquatic collapse is only the first domino. The void left by the mosquito quickly moves from the water up into the air, tearing a hole through the terrestrial food chain. Billions of flying mosquitoes represent a massive, mobile food source. Their sudden disappearance strips away the primary diet of enormous populations of airborne predators, including specific species of bats and spiders that rely on those dense swarms. The avian world is just as dependent. Across multiple continents, bird species rely on catching mosquitoes to nourish their young. Without that specific, abundant protein source, those hatchlings face immediate starvation before leaving the nest. The mosquito acts as a load-bearing pillar in the global food web. Pull it out, and entire generations of specialized predators lose their primary means of survival. Part of our desire to destroy them stems from a misconception about how they live. There are over 3,000 recognized mosquito species, and only the females consume human blood. Even then, that bite isn't for their own daily survival. The blood is a nutrient requirement specifically for the development of the female's eggs. The males, identified by their feathery antennae, have a different diet. They are exclusively nectar feeders, functioning as active, widespread pollinators as they drink. Look at this barren, rocky landscape in the Arctic tundra. This pollination role is vital in harsh, freezing environments, where traditional pollinators like bees are unable to survive the temperatures. In these extreme biomes, local plant species rely on swarms of male mosquitoes for cross-pollination. Without these resilient insects, the plants have no way to reproduce. The loss of these pollinators halts plant reproduction in some of the planet's most fragile biomes, leading to widespread botanical die-offs. The result of our eradication fantasy is an unraveling ecosystem. We'd be looking at suffocated waterways, starving predator populations, and failing flora across multiple continents. But the danger doesn't stop with what disappears. Ecology operates on the principle of the biological vacuum. Nature abhors an empty space. When a niche opens up, competing species rapidly migrate or evolve to claim it. That is the unpredictable flaw in any human-led eradication plan. The replacement organism that eventually claims the mosquito's vacant throne might carry new pathogens that prove more dangerous to humanity than the diseases we fought to eliminate. We are used to treating the mosquito like a villain, but in reality, it operates as a vital civil servant, holding the complex machinery of the natural world in balance.